Every day in every city room comes that hectic time when all the footwork, rewrite, captioning, cartooning, press work, when all the news from all over the world comes together into a newspaper you can read. This is where the pros earn their money. Reporter to rewrite to make up to city desk. The stories that shock a nation, move them, make them laugh, begin here. Like this one. The byline on this story from the Denver Post carries two names, George McWilliams and Zeke Scherf, a reporting team who covered two different sides of this story, and giving to Denver and to the nation not only the facts as they happened, but also a vivid portrait of a man responsible for one of the most terrible events in recent history. The story began 2 hours earlier at the Denver airport. November 1st. A plane had flown in from the east headed for Seattle, Washington. It was Flight 169. Mrs. Margaret Kirkland was boarding the plane. She kissed her grandson, her daughter-in-law, and her only son, Frank Robert Evans. It was a casual family farewell scene. Mrs. Agnes Kirkland, widow and grandmother, were starting on a vacation trip. Nothing had happened to indicate that it was the beginning of a tragedy that would shock the nation. That same night, November 1st, in the beat fields of Longmont, the ill-fated Flight 169 out of Denver crashed, killing all persons aboard. This is a story of a human mind deranged. They're ready. They're rolling. The presses are rolling on deadline. At 5 a.m., 2 weeks after the mass tragedy, the city editor of the Denver Post, Willard Hazelbush, received a call from the FBI. Sabotage was suspected. Hazelbush was informed of the arrest of Frank Robert Evans, resident of Denver. 6 a.m. Hazelbush immediately summoned McWilliams to his office for a pre-dawn briefing of the story.
Evans confessed that he got his homemade bomb onto the plane by slipping it into his mother's suitcase.
Willard, you're asking me to believe that this guy deliberately murdered his mother along with 43 other people he didn't even know?
Just giving you what the FBI gave me. Matt, if Evans planted that bomb on the plane, it's the worst, most brutal mass murder on record.
What else did the FBI give you?
Nothing. You know those guys when they make an arrest.
Frank Robert Evans, 23. Resident of Denver, married, 2 children. His mother was on the plane. He signed a confession.
By the first edition. By 3 o'clock this afternoon, I want Frank Evans's life to be an open book. And on top of that, I want to know everything the FBI knows.
Well, that's a mighty big order for 8 hours' time.
Zeke will be on it with you. He should be here any minute. Bring him up to date and then get moving.
Maybe I can get an interview with Evans.
Not as long as he's a federal prisoner. When the FBI turn him over to the DA, we'll nail him. Now get going.
Right.
Sally, now listen, I want 4 rewrite men and 6 photographers down here in 20 minutes.
6:30. McWilliams was at the home of Frank Evans interviewing his wife.
He couldn't have signed a confession. He couldn't have. It's impossible.
That's the word we got from the FBI, Mrs. Evans.
The FBI? I told them the wrong things. We went down to identify the luggage, and all of a sudden, they were asking me questions, you know, and I just got very nervous and said all the wrong things. I never should have told them about Frank getting sick.
Where was it that he got sick?
In the restaurant at the airport. We went for a snack after we saw his mother off. Frank took a few bites of food and then had to leave, but he was all right when he came back. Anything could have made him sick. Not...
Not what, Mrs. Evans? Were they on good terms?
Yes, they were. They got along beautifully. They had arguments, but, well, everybody has arguments. I mean, she'd done so much for us. Why would he want to kill her? And all those people. Oh, it's horrible. He wouldn't do it. I know he wouldn't. She's done so much for us. When Frank's stepfather died, she came to Denver from Kremling, bought this house for us and the drive-in. We all lived here together. Oh, I wish she'd never gotten on that plane.
Where was she headed for? Seattle?
No, Alaska. Frank's half-sister lives there. His mother hadn't seen her in some time, and Frank thought it'd be a nice vacation for her.
Was the trip his idea?
There's nothing wrong in that. We own this drive-in restaurant. It was closed for repairs. She'd been working long hours. She needed a rest.
What is it, Mrs. Evans?
What am I going to tell them? What am I going to tell my children?
8 a.m. Reporter Zeke Scher visited the Evans drive-in, closed for repairs.
So is this Frank Evans' drive-in?
Huh?
I said, is this Frank Evans' drive-in?
That's right, yeah. Him and his mother's. Only she was killed in that air crash 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so I heard.
What'd you say?
I said, yes, I heard. Tell me, how long have you worked for Evans?
Too long. About 3 weeks. This is my last day, whether he likes it or not. As soon as he shows I get my money, I'm quitting.
You don't sound as though you're very fond of Evans.
Took a dislike to him the first day. Didn't like the way he talked to his mother. Used foul language with her. I don't go for that.
See, what did Evans hire you for anyway? Remodeling?
No, putting the joint back together. Had an explosion here about 3 weeks ago. It almost tore the place apart.
How did that happen?
Well, Evans says burglars broke in and uncoupled the main gas line. Flooded the whole place with gas. Pilot light on the water heater ignited it. Up she went.
Why would burglars want to do a thing like that?
You got me. Sure scared his mother plenty. She figured she was lucky.
What do you mean, lucky?
Well, Evans closed up every night. She opened up every morning. She missed the explosion by an hour. Yeah. I see. Well, check that out for me, Andy. How you doing, Mac?
Here's what I got so far, Will.
Not bad. I checked with the Air Flight Insurance Company. Evans took out $37,000 on his mother before she got on the plane. Also, he beat a forgery rap about 5 years ago. His mother promised he'd pay back every cent, so they paroled him.
Did he pay it?
With his mother's help. Yeah? Zeke! Well, what have you got? Evans has been turned over to the state for the murder indictment. Yeah? I'll keep in touch. Mac will nail the interview. Evans repudiated his confession.
What kind of a guy do you take me for? I wouldn't do a thing like that. Why should I? I loved my mother. They're trying to hang this on me because they don't have anybody else to hang it on.
They have your signed confession.
Sure, that's what they tell me too, but I don't remember signing any confession. That FBI threw so many questions at me, I was dizzy. Listen, I'm not a murderer. I loved my mother, and I appreciated her a lot more than most guys, too, because I was away from her for almost 10 years when I was a kid in an orphanage. I mean, I never had it soft like a lot of guys. It wasn't her fault. My father died when I was a little kid. And we didn't have any money, didn't leave us any. And boy, it's sure scary when you don't have any money. Anyway, after my mother married again, I went to the ranch with her. I was plenty glad, believe me. And then she did good things for us, like buying us the house and the drive-in. Look, I appreciated her, and I loved her. And I wouldn't kill her. I'm just not that kind of a guy.
What made you sick after the plane took off?
They told you that too, huh? They'll tell you anything just to make it look like you're guilty. I wasn't sick. I felt badly from eating some fish. I'm the kind of guy who can't eat fish without it bothering him. I threw some cold water on my face and I felt fine.
I take it you're repudiating your confession, then.
Yeah, if you mean I'm saying I didn't do it, I'm repudiating it, all right. Look, if I didn't, I'd be lying. I'm the kind of guy who doesn't like lying. I always tell my kids, don't lie. I mean, it's no good to lie.
Nobody was with you when you got the bags out of the car.
What? Look, what is this? Another minute, I'm not going to tell you anything.
I'm sorry, Evans. I just want to get the whole story. Now, did you stay with your mother till she got on the plane?
Yeah. We both saw her as far as the gate. And then I kissed her goodbye. That's the kind of guy I am. I always kiss my mother goodbye.
Did you and your mother get along well together?
We got along fine. I mean, we never had any arguments. I avoided arguing with her because I didn't want to hurt her. I'm the kind of guy who doesn't like to hurt anyone.
Evans, have you thought at all about the 43 other people?
What 43 other people?
The ones that died in the crash with your mother.
Well, what about them? I mean, I thought about my mother. Look, I'll tell you straight, I loved her. Well, you believe me, don't you? I loved her. Look, I loved her. I loved her.
Friday, November 14th. The story broke across the country. New York. Chicago. San Francisco. Denver. Saturday, November 15th at the office of Editor Hazelbush of the Denver Post.
Kept denying it and denying it. I'm telling you, Will, it was one of the weirdest experiences I ever had in my life. It made my flesh crawl. He sat there and told me how he loved his mother, how he appreciated her, and how he was the kind of a guy who never wanted to hurt anybody. And all the time, I knew that he actually murdered 44 people.
Take it easy. Maybe you're jumping the gun on this guy.
You weren't there, Will.
Mac, we're running a newspaper here. Oh, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying let's get the whole story so we'll know where we stand.
Well, I think I have something.
What is it?
I followed a lead I got from Evans's counterman. Would you step in, please, Mrs. Jackson? This is my editor, Mr. Hazelbush.
How do you do? Won't you sit down?
This is Mr. Mac Williams.
How do you do?
Would you mind repeating to them what you told me?
No, I wouldn't mind. We have an electrical appliance store. Frank Evans took a position with us a while back for a week. Just 1 week. And during that time, he showed a good deal of interest in the workings of various electrical appliances. He was a likable boy, a little strange maybe, but anyway, our repairman offered to show him a few things about them. But it turned out he was only interested in one item.
What was that?
Electrical timing devices.
Get me makeup. Zeke, write me a column and a half on Mrs. Jackson. Get her verbatim statement on it.
Got you. All right, Mrs. Jackson.
Makeup? Who's this, Charlie? Listen, can you clear me 4 columns center front page under headline? Fine. I'll kill that picture. Use Evans. It'll be down to you in, hold on. How long will the front page appeal for information linking Evans to the sale of timing devices take you?
15 minutes, Will.
Right. Mac will be down in 10 minutes.
The Denver Post came out in special edition Monday morning, November 17th, carrying a front-page picture of Evans and the headline, "Do you know this man?" The appeal to its readers asked people to take a minute out of their busy lives to study the photograph and description and think back if this man had purchased an electrical timing device capable of triggering off the bomb. The appeal said that without the cooperation of the people of Denver, it would be impossible to bring to justice a man who may have murdered 44 innocent people. Monday, November 17th, the salesman for an electrical supply company thought he remembered making the sale. An FBI agent was present when he came to the office.
Do you recognize any of these pictures?
This is the man I sold the timing device to.
Good enough. Would you mind going with this gentleman to make a statement?
Not at all.
Looks like we got him.
You think so?
Should be enough to guarantee his conviction.
I don't know. Zeke, do you think the sale of this timing device will stand up as evidence in court?
No, it's good for the total, but it's not enough.
That's what I think. Not enough.
Hello, my name is Zeke Scher. I'm a reporter for the Denver Post. Do you sell dynamite wholesale?
Oh, you only sell dynamite wholesale, huh?
You don't.
I see.
Okay.
Will you give me the names of the retailers in the area who sell the most dynamite? Yeah? Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Bye.
And what did he give you?
The names of 3 retailers. Cook's Hardware and Farm Equipment. Quibley's Hardware and Supply. They're both out in Golden.
Yeah.
And the Baker Mercantile Company. That's in Kremling. There are a lot of ranchers up there.
Yeah. Kremling. That's it. That's it. Evans' stepfather used to have a ranch there. Evans spent a lot of summers there when he was a kid. That's a very small town. He'd know if they sold dynamite.
Give me long distance.
Baker's Mercantile. Sam speaking.
Do you people sell dynamite?
Yeah. We sell lots of dynamite here. How's that? A newspaper? When? Well, it seems to me... I did sell some sticks to a young fellow. Well, seems to me about 3 weeks back.
Do you have a copy of yesterday's Post? There's a picture of Evans in it. Now, maybe you could tell from the... Hey, this guy's pretty excited.
What did he say?
He's going to get the paper to check.
Hello. I really can't tell anything from this picture. But I did sell 20 sticks of dynamite to a fellow that looked something like this. Well, I'll tell you why I remember. He said he didn't care how long the wires were, and he didn't want the regular blasting caps. He asked for electrical ones.
Tuesday, November 18th, County Jail, Denver. Evans was brought in for Sam Mulvey to make a positive identification. The FBI agent was present as well.
No. No, you must be mistaken. I wouldn't kill my own mother. I loved her.
I loved her. What kind of a guy do you take me for anyway? I appreciated my mother and I loved her. I wouldn't kill her. I'm not that kind of a person. I appreciated her more than most guys because when I was a kid, I was away from her for almost 10 years in an orphanage. I never had it soft like some, but it wasn't her fault. I loved her. And ever since we've been together, she's done good things for me, like buying the house for us and the drive-in. I'm not the kind of guy who'd let his mother go on a plane trip without seeing her off and making sure everything was okay and comfortable. We got along great. We never fought. We never even had any arguments. I avoided arguing with her. I'm the kind of guy that doesn't like to hurt anyone. I'm the kind of guy that doesn't like lying. I always tell my kids, don't lie. It's no good to lie. I told you this before, but I'll say it again because I'm proud of my feelings. I'll say it straight. I loved her. I loved my mother. You believe me, don't you? I loved her. I loved her. I wouldn't kill her. I loved her.
That's him. I'm positive. I'd know him any place.
Thank you, Mr. Mulvey. Well, is that proof enough for you? 43 people he never even knew. He'll die in the gas chamber. But how can anybody pay for that kind of mass destruction?
The answer to that is simple.
What is it?
He can't.
Frank Robert Evans went on trial for the murder of his mother. He might have been indicted on 44 counts of murder. A jury deliberated for an hour and 9 minutes and pronounced him guilty. His sentence was death in the gas chamber. During the long days of his arrest and trial, Frank Evans showed no sign of remorse. But on May 16th, 7 months after he killed his mother and 43 other innocent persons, Frank Robert Evans wrote, quote, "I do not desire a new trial. I accept the verdict of the jury and desire that it be carried out with all convenient speed. This is my wish." So it ended. Byline, George McWilliams and Zeke Scherf. Deadline, Denver.